We're here at the 2K Games booth, and we're about to take a look at Civilization 5, and we're here with producer Jon Shafer. Jon, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Jon, Civ 5 is a game that a lot of people are waiting for. A lot of people are just hopelessly addicted to the series, but a lot of people have also been really surprised to hear that there are a whole bunch of changes that are going into this new game. Tell us about some of those.
Okay. One big one that we're obviously going to be talking a lot about is combat. This is a pretty big change, and it's one that we're really excited about. It's instead of large stacks, we're going to what we call a 1 unit per tile combat system, which is only 1 military unit in each tile, and that will prevent people from building these large stacks of doom and just sending them around. And we think this is really going to add a lot to the combat side of the game, because players will have to think more about how they use their units and if an attack is worthwhile, or just all the different things that go into launching an offensive, fighting on the defense. We're also introducing ranged units to the series again. Ranged units were in Civilization 3, but because you could stack units, it was kind of like you just had a special set of units in the stack instead of really changing the dynamic for warfare. And anybody who's familiar with the old game Panzer General will actually recognize a lot of what we're doing with Civilization 5. And it was something that we thought was a good change. We think going away from stacks will be a big benefit to Civ, so that's a good thing. Additionally, we're looking at the diplomatic side of the game as well. We're introducing something called city-states, which are minor powers that are part of the game that aren't there to win, but are there to kind of grease the wheels of diplomacy. You can befriend them, you can conquer them, and most interesting of all, you mix the two, where somebody makes a friend of a city-state and another civilization tries to conquer it. And there's a lot of interesting diplomatic possibilities that take place there, because if you've made an investment in a city-state, you don't want to lose it. You want to keep that investment as much as you can. So a player that might not normally want to go to war might be really strongly encouraged to do that, because they want to protect the city-state that they've built a friendship with. In terms of the game as a whole, obviously we've been talking a lot about the big changes that we've been making. Certainly that's the most exciting part of a new game, but something else that I should state is that the game itself feels very similar to the previous Civilization games. If you enjoyed the previous games, you're going to enjoy Civ 5. The changes sound large, but once people get a chance to actually play the game, I think they'll recognize that it is still very much a Civ game, and that it's not completely throwing everything out the window. We're just changing some of the features around the core of the gameplay. So we think it will appeal to the previous Civ fans for sure. The user interface is an area of the game that we've really tried to focus quite a bit on. With Civilization 5, one of our goals was to keep as much of the depth of the series as possible. So the goal really was to keep it as deep as Civ 4. We didn't set out to cut a lot out and make it, a lot more simplified. So one of the best ways that we've found to make the game more accessible to new players is to focus on the experience of learning it. And the user interface has always kind of been a stumbling block for a lot of players. If you just put everything up there in small icons, it just gets really hard to tell what's going on. So we wanted to focus as much as possible on the things that are really important at the time. We still have all the information is available, it's there, but we wanted to prioritize it and make sure that players were only getting what they needed. The advisors as well are a big part of that. Personally, I'm not a big fan of tutorials, as a lot of people are probably in a similar situation. You just don't want to sit down and click through something for 2 hours that's not playing the game. So the advisors give us the opportunity for players to just jump right into any game and start playing a real game without, learning how to move the camera around. And the advisors will come in and give them advice on situations. They'll teach them new things. They'll kind of serve as a tutorial without necessarily needing to go step by step through the learning experience of the game. So it's something that's really designed to help bring players in that maybe tried the game before but just didn't get it, or brand new players as well.
Okay, Jon, so that was a great interview, lots of really great information there. We'd like to close by asking you to remind us when the game is coming out and for which platforms?
Sure thing. The game will be out for the PC in North America on September 21st of this year, and internationally on September 24th.
Great, thank you so much, Jon, really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, that was Civilization 5 here at the 2K Games booth at E3. Thanks.